this video for forever. I be forgetting that I have locks and that y'all be wanting me to talk about my locks. I haven't retwisted my hair on video in a long time because the last time I got a retwist, I got it done in the salon because I needed some repair. I married a couple of my locks and I needed it crocheted because my locks are mature, so it's not going to combine with me just mixing them together. I need it to be crocheted. And you know, I don't get retwisted often. I probably get retwists every the most I've gone is probably 3 months, and I like to keep it like longer, so maybe like 2 months, a month and a half. So yeah, now I want to do a cute style, and this is alluding to a Halloween costume that I'm doing tomorrow. I guess I can say it because this video will drop after the fact. I'm gonna be Velma, and I do have a shaggy, so it's like a duo costume. I feel like a big part of her costume is her hair. Since I'm due for a retwist, let me just do a bob style, and bangs too. I love bangs, so I'm gonna show y'all how I do that. I think I've done it on a reel before, but not actually for a video. So I'm gonna show y'all how to do loc bangs. I already washed my hair and I let it dry. I washed it this morning, so it's been in my cotton towel, 100% cotton, because you don't want to dry your locks or any hair tight with like regular towels, because that'll cause a lot of breakage and friction and frizz. After I dried my hair, now it's pretty like, it's still damp at the roots for sure. I oiled before I put my towel on, because if I was to allow my hair to dry right out of the shower without any oil or moisturizer, then it was gonna really like kind of dry up and get brittle. So pat my hair so it's not soaking wet, and then add the oil to like my scalp, my ends, and like my edges. It can allow the oils to moisturize my locks, and then when I take the towel off and ready to retwist right now, then it's not just super dry and brittle, then I have to kind of like re-wet it to add the oil in order for it to soak well and then keep it moisturized. So think ahead of the game. Pro tip: some people like to style as they retwist, but I'll retwist first because of the style that I'm doing. If I was just doing a basic 2-strand twist, then I could style while I retwisted. I'm gonna separate my front bangs first, and then I'm going to separate my hair up so that I can start at the bottom. Normally, I don't love to use like gel on my hair just because I'm one of those people that will do anything to avoid buildup. I usually just do, especially if it's just like a fake retwist for myself, I'll just use oil or just like pure aloe vera, either from the plant, or I have this gel that I got from Jamaica that's just aloe vera. I have this aloe gel that I found at the beauty supply store. The ingredients didn't frighten me, or like I can tell what the ingredients are. It's also alcohol free, it has coconut oil, so just try to be mindful with your gels, like not to get anything too thick or too clumpy. Please do not use beeswax. Please don't use anything that has like 15 pages worth of ingredients. Like I tried to look for one that had the least amount of ingredients that I saw, just because you want to avoid that buildup in the future. Like product that you put at the root doesn't have a lot of opportunity to leave the hair or to get absorbed throughout the rest of the locks. That's why you see us loc people, you know, moisturizing our hair all the way down, because they're not. It's gonna get stuck up into the roots trying to get past the locks, and it's gonna get trapped. And we don't want that, because that's going to make our hair super heavy. It's going to attract lint easier because that stickiness will always be in your hair. It's just not healthy. It's just not a good thing to have. So I'm one of those people that are like, I don't want to realize, you know, 10 years down that this is what I shouldn't have done. So I try to be really, really careful about that, especially when I do my own hair, because I don't need it to be 100% perfect and clean and super neat and stays for like 3 weeks. I just need it to separate my hair and make it continue to grow healthy. I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to my locks at all. I love the frizz, like I say all the time. Frizz friendly, low maintenance, low product, low tension, because the point of your locks, they're supposed to be able to breathe and be an extension of you and an expression of you, and I'm gonna keep mine at their very, very best. Okay, that's another reason why I decided to loc, because when I had curly hair, it was every day a whole bunch of gel, a whole bunch of different conditioners, leave-in conditioners, like mousse or sprays and this and that. And first of all, that's a lot of maintenance to just like do physically, but also just like a lot on my hair, on my scalp. and it just didn't feel natural or true to my heart. So this is for me. No shade, no tease to anybody that does that and loves that, and that's for you. For me, I'm just letting my hair do its thing, you know what I'm saying? But like, period, okay? Shanice, let's get into it. Hey y'all, let's switch over to a voiceover to keep things interesting. I just wanted to explain my process here. I separated like the last 2 rows. I say the last 2 rows because my first row is maybe like 1 or 2 locks. And I call those like my edge locks. They're easy to separate, so it's easier for me to just go ahead and bring down that second row because it's going to take me 2 seconds to fix that up. Because these are the locks behind my head, I try my best to part and make sure that it's clean. But like I said before, I'm not a perfectionist in that way, so as long as it feels like it's clean and I feel like I've separated the most that I could, then it's straight with me. And I find it easier to separate the parts with gel. I think it helps to lay the frizzies down. I think it helps make the line more clean, and you don't have to go back and forth into the gel to fix every lock. I also use the no clip method, so after I finish retwisting, I will wrap the lock around itself, making sure that it's really nice and tight at the root. Not super tight because we don't want to strain our locks or our scalp, but tight enough to where I'm wrapping it around and it's not going to come loose. Kind of like if you were starting a bantu knot, that's how you're going to wrap the hair around at the roots, and then just wrap it around twice so that it stays still. I also want to preach about palm rolling. I feel like this is a really important technique, especially if you started with coils or 2-strand twists, because palm rolling helps to form your locks and mold them into the right shape. It helps your locks to even out. It helps your frizz to go down. I feel like when you're retwisting, it's important to palm roll the new growth into the lock. I feel like some people just take the new growth and wrap it around almost like if you're doing a 2-strand twist with it, but I feel like palm rolling really blends it into the rest of the lock so that it stays for longer. Pro tip: if you have curly ends, now would be a good time to add a little bit of gel or leave-in conditioner at the bottom and wrap them up so that they curl nicely and it's not frizzy. Let me tell y'all something. If you have a friend with locks and they do their own hair, make sure you give them a big hug, because this is not for the weak. I promise you, this is a whole week of arm workouts because you are tending to your head for 3-4 hours at a time. Like, look at me, y'all. I was slumped. I was so tired. Like, I needed a break for sure. Because it's not only your arms doing all the work, your neck, especially my neck, because I got a big head and I got wet locks. My neck has to hold all that weight up. Lord. Now do you understand why I wait so long between retwists? Sometimes it takes me a whole week to finish a retwist because I got so much going on in the week. But it's definitely worth it in the long run. I'm saving money and I'm able to be picky about how I'm doing my hair. Okay, pause, because this looks so much better. And I'm kind of a little bit ticked off that I didn't record the first part of this video like that. Tell me why I forgot to turn on my ring lights. The whole like lights that are like shining like this, I don't know how to fix that, and it's kind of getting on my nerves. If anybody knows how to fix that, hey, drop in the comments, let me know, DM me. But anyways, at least we didn't like film the whole thing like that, right? Let's find the good, let's find the positive, let's find the blessings in disguise. Yeah, this is my little break because my arms are getting tired. My pinky hurts. My nail was coming off, so I was just gonna take it off and then re-glue it back on because I got some more nail glue and I accidentally like kind of took it off a little too hard. And it hurts when I'm doing my hair. It's kind of throbbing. I'm a G. I can handle it. It's just a little pain. Just a little pain. Just gonna thug it out. Like that. Don't mind the terrible angle, but y'all see I'm all done with the retwist. You see the crisp, clean lines. You see the locks wrapped around itself at the root. I do what I can. You know I do. This is light work. You know what I'm saying? In my sleep type shit. You feel me? Alright, we are back in business. I have some tea. I just had a snack break. Muy bien. I finished retwisting most of the head. I left this part alone because this is what I want for my bangs, and I'm going to just retwist them and put them right into bangs. Okay. Period. And then what we're gonna do is where we want our bang, we're gonna kind of hold that position, maybe even a little bit lower because it's going to thicken up and it's gonna look like it's a little bit higher. So I think this is a good point. You're gonna fold it at that point and just start bringing your lock around. And try to start as low to this fold as possible and wrap your lock around itself, going up and down and up and down until you tie it right back into itself. And people say like, oh, what if it unravels, this and that. This is how it stays for me, because I have twisted it around and around and around and around for itself. And then you tighten it or you secure it with a rubber band. And I try to reach this rubber band on all parts. So that everything is secure as possible. Period. Way back to a voiceover, you know, I gotta give a little bit of details. The way I like to shape my bangs, the ones that are on the outside, I like to make them just a little bit longer, like at the end of my eyebrow, and then the rest kind of curving up to be on the top of my eyebrow. So I'm basically accentuating the arch of my brow with my bangs. And I will always start off with the first, like the nearest edgest row of my locks, that very front row, because those will definitely be bangs. And then I can start to see where they lay, and if I want my bangs to look a little bit more full, then I'll start to add locks from the second row. And if you want your bangs to last the longest, try to keep the root nice and tight while you're folding it and wrapping it around yourself, because then once you lay it, that's just how it's going to be laid. And don't be afraid to start over and redo. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, friends, so this is where I'm starting my bob. Everything else is retwisted. My bangs are set, so it's time for me to kind of shape the bob the way I want it to. This took me a little minute to figure out how I wanted to place everything and where I even wanted to start. Usually I start in the back, so this was kind of throwing me off. All you can do is start where you know, and I knew that I wanted my front locks to lay a certain way, so that's where I'm gonna start. And at first I was trying to do a slanted bob, so I knew that the right side I wanted to be longer, so I tried to see how long I could get my 2-strand twist all the way down, and then that would be the point as to where I would start that like slanted angle. And even though these were going to be the longest locks, I still wanted to do a type of lock knot at the bottom. This was a little more difficult because I didn't have a lot to work with, but my little curly ends did wrap around the ends really nice. You got to make it work. Whoa, fast forward and we are already done with this slanted bob. Now being done is the actual joke, because I did not like this slanted bob at all. Pro tip, if you really do want to do a slanted bob, I figured it out after the fact that you have to do a straight, like short length all the way around until you get to like the ear on one side that you want it to be long, and that's when you start making it longer to make that diagonal, quote unquote. I think there are some bobs that actually have a complete diagonal where they start short on one side and then they end long on the other side, but I think that it would look better with locks to just do one short length all the way around, and then once you get to the ear of the other side, then you start to go longer. I'll have to retry that because the concept makes sense in my mind and I want to show y'all that it's possible. So maybe on my next locked video, drop in the comments if you want to see that come to life. But I really was unsatisfied with the way that I slanted it the first time. I feel like maybe if I had somebody else do it for me, or somebody that can help me in the back, it would look better, but I didn't have that, so you work with what you got. So I decided to do instead a different type of bob where it's super short in the back but then long in the front. I got this inspiration from my mama because she recently cut her hair to a bob, and it's that same like super short in the back and then diagonal down to your chin. So being the perfectionist that I am, I had to sit down and do it right then and there. I was actually invited to a party the same night, so I had like 20 minutes to get this done. But you know, you can do it if you put your mind to it. So that's the mindset I was in. I was taking my tweezers and taking all the rubber bands out, and I mean, of course not completely redoing it because I'm already the 2-strand twist at the root is all that I need, and then the rest of the lock is going to go up into a knot. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot to teach y'all how to do a lock knot. That's so embarrassing. I promise it's the same concept as your bang, where you're folding it at the point that you want to shorten it and then taking the locks and wrapping it around itself. If your locks are thin thinner, you can do this exact movement and take both of your locks in the 2-strand twist, fold it, and wrap it around itself. If you have thicker locks, you may want to fold and then wrap one lock counterclockwise, the other lock clockwise. As I mentioned, I was going to a party, so I got dressed super quick after I semi-finished my Loc Bob. I was not mad at the bob at this point, but you know, your girl had to go out on the town, you feel what I'm saying? And I wasn't planning on being Velma until the next day, so I'm chilling. Into the fit, I actually put this together kind of on the spot because I was being rushed and I used the time that I was supposed to get ready to finish up my Loc Bob because I'm a perfectionist, but I still ate a little piece, right? Good morning. Yes, y'all, it's the next morning after a fun party night. This is what I mean when I say that my retwist be taking like a week, because I will stop and pause and then just finish it the next day. Because for sure I wanted to make sure I was presentable for school, okay? So the ones lifted up in my bonnet are cool. I did those yesterday, and I just wanted to focus on the last bit to just make them shorter at the bottom. I wanted to go so short that the last row I actually made into Bantu knots. So every row after that was going to be shorter and shorter and shorter, laying on top of each knot. So I felt like that was a good starting point for me. Like, that's the exaggeration level of shortness that I want to be at. I also took the locks that are by my ears and made them longer. I originally made them shorter to go with a slanted bob. I figured I could get a lot more length if I took the locks that were closest to the front of my face and at the lowest point, you feel what I'm saying, that's by my ear, and made them longer so that I can really try to make this exaggerated like front portion of my hair really long and then the back really short. You see, I'm trying to create a visual with my words because I don't even know what part I'm on in this video. I'm doing the Bantu knots right now, but I'm talking about how I made the locks by my ear long. You know, I'm just trying to give y'all tips here and there, so I hope that you understand what I'm saying. And you can see here the back part, I really wanted it to lift up and be as short as it can, kind of like one of those anime bobs. I think that's where maybe I've spotted this before, but I was pretty much satisfied with this. Okay, this is me out on the town in motion, getting to the brows. You know, I'm perfecting them. I really like them this day, period. And this is a sneak peek to me being Velma. Peep the fit with the orange socks. Yeah, girl. And it would only be right if I showed the bob in action at the fair. You know how we do. Get into the shimmy, get into the wave, stiff wear. You know my locks is bouncing and flourishing and soft and in the bob, in the 2-strand. But yes, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this lock video. Drop in the comments if you want to see more lock content, more styles and tutorials. And make sure that you and your friend and your mama and your mama's friends, cousins, aunties, nephews, and nieces are all subscribed to Glam's Room so y'all can get the details.